my mother-in-law. Wonderful woman. Okay. In order to tell you about her, I have to quote her directly. And I will need to say one cuss word, because if you have ever known someone who was just comes from a very, very rural background, a lot of times for the way they talk, there's really not an English translation. You have to quote them directly. So I keep my comedy clean, but I have to say one curse word here to quote her. So just put on your protective ear covering, if you don't want to hear that. So women have 2 biological clocks, one for children, one for grandchildren. When I started dating her son, and she was past due for grandchildren, so she would call us every week and say, "Y'all need to shit or get off the pot." That is Texan speak for, "I would be simply delighted if the 2 of you would engage in the holy sacrament of matrimony." She'd call him, she'd call me, "Jennifer, y'all need to," just like all the time. Then 2 years went by. We were not engaged. I did not have a ring. At that point, she called me and was like, "Jennifer, I don't think he's gay." So finally, 2.5 years into our relationship, he proposed. It was like a moment out of a movie. It was the beautiful scene out of my wildest dreams. And he called his mother and he said, "Ma, we decided to shit." This is the family I married into. So when we did start having kids, my mother-in-law was so excited, and she was such a big help. But I did have to get used to her way of doing things. I mean, she grew up in East Texas so poor, they did not have running water in her house growing up. She had just a real different way of doing things, different culture. She had more than one friend named Skeeter. And that was their government name, like on their birth certificate. And so she decided at one point that she was like, you got to get these kids potty trained. She'd call and she'd have me put the phone on speakerphone, and she'd always tell my kids, like, "You got a TT in the pot, you got a TT in the pot." She was always telling somebody to get on a pot, get off a pot. I don't know, that was just her thing. So, and I said, "Yes, oh good. I have been reading the parenting experts on the beauty of child-led potty training. I'm going to send you a book on it so that you can educate yourself about the gentle art of child-led potty training. It's very big in Sweden. That this is what we're doing." I'd fallen in with a bad crowd. Montessori. I sent her the book. She used it to kill a spider. And she said, "Jennifer, we're not messing around with any of that nonsense. We're gonna get this done." So she comes up to visit, and it was. I mean, my oldest was 3, and he was a very verbal child. It is weird when someone can give you a soliloquy about why they don't want to TT in the pot. It was time. So she came to visit. She's like, "We're going to have this done by the end of the weekend." And I said, "No, you're not. I don't know what country ways, you think but I've been trying to do this for years. It's not going to work, but you can try." So she showed up. Now, when my mother-in-law showed up at my house, it was always like the circus and the SWAT team were showing up at the same time. So she shows up, she's kicking my door. Like she's kicking it. I open the door. Well, she had her hands full. One hand, she's on the phone. She's yelling at someone. In the other hand, she has a potty chair that seemed to be used. And so I had so many questions. Firstly, who is she on the phone with? Well, it turns out she had gotten our mayor's personal cell phone number. And so she's yelling at him about the potholes and the sin. This is just unacceptable and all that. So she throws this old potty chair down. She's like, you need to TT in the pot. Not you, Mayor. Finally, after accepting his apology, she hangs up on him. And so she starts yelling at the kids, all right, let's go. Put your big boy pants on. We're TTing in the pot. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. Where did you get this potty chair? She's like, I got that from Doris at the square dance hall. I said, I didn't think your friend Doris had kids. She's like, no, she keeps it in her pickup truck because the lines for the bathrooms there, they're terrible. She's like, this is much nicer than the slop jars we had back in the day. This is fancy. I'm staring at this potty chair, just trying to wrap my mind around the fact that this was used by an adult. She sees me staring at it and is like, Jennifer, you can't have it for your minivan. We have to give it back. Now, friends, I can only tell you what happened next now that many years have passed, and that I can assure you that everyone involved in what I am about to say next, they're okay. Everyone is okay. We're all psychologically okay. So my son hated his big boy pants. He just didn't like the feel of it. So that was his big resistance to potty training. I hate my big boy pants. So she put him in his big boy pants, and he did what he always did every time. He throws himself down. He's like, I hate my big boy pants. I take off my big boy pants. And I'm like, see, every time. My mother-in-law unbuttoned her jeans, dropped them to the floor, put her hands on her big old granny panties, and said, if you take off your big boy pants, I'm gonna take off my big girl pants. He was potty trained from that day forward. I should sell a masterclass called the Fulwiler Country 2-Minute Potty Training Miracle. The only thing is you'd have to sign a non-disclosure agreement not to ever speak about what you learned in this class. I was a lifelong atheist before I became Catholic. And when people hear that I chose to join the Roman Catholic Church, they're like, why? And that's just the Catholics. I used to have all of these stereotypes that Catholics curse and they drink and they're irresponsible with family planning. And now I am those stereotypes. And so are you guys, evidently. You know, the culture around us sometimes doesn't like Catholicism. You know when they realize they need us? When their houses are haunted. Try to imagine an Exorcist movie without the Catholic Church. They're like, we've been hearing evil voices from the basement. It's a demon. Somebody call a non-denominational worship leader. Only a a Unitarian can save us now. But I love all the great dialogue we have now between Protestants and evangelicals and Catholics. Like, a lot of my Protestant friends are getting in on historical Catholic traditions, and I like to help them. I like to share my experiences. You know, like, a lot of my Protestant friends are now celebrating Lent. So I tell them, for example, about the time that I gave up cursing for Lent. And I say, the thing with this tradition of giving things up for Lent is that you bring it back in a big way on Easter morning. And I love it. I love it that so many of my Protestant friends are getting in on these wonderful, rich liturgical traditions. I think it's so great. There is an area of Catholicism that you might want to leave to us Catholics. For example, relics. You guys familiar with this? So a relic is where we as Catholics like to take a piece of clothing or even a piece of a body of a holy man or woman who lived and just keep it around so that we can feel close to them. There is even a church, this is true, there's a church in Italy, this beautiful historic church. And inside it is a very delicate, beautiful glass box, and there is a saint's head in it. And when you see it in context, it's actually a beautiful thing. The saint lived hundreds of years ago. The church is like 1,000 years old. And when you see it in the grand scheme of this ornate cathedral, you realize that it's a beautiful thing. But Protestant friends, leave this one to us. Because it's going to be a little weird if you walk into your local megachurch called Celebration Station and there's a glass box with a guy's head in it. That's Pastor Cody. He was great.